Hello there, ladies and gentlefolk, and welcome to another episode of Zcast. Fortunately for everyone involved, HK is not here this week, and I'm joined instead by Squee and Burn. Say hello, you two.
Hello, you two.
Hello, you two.
Awesome, I am a lovely person, I agree. Right, so it's actually kind of awkward having to host this again. HK was like a useful prop for that. So yeah, we had Dragon Ball Z League. That was a thing. But before we get into that, actually, before we go into that, there's a couple of things I want to know. Because HK isn't here, and I'm really lazy, and Skype's shit, we're using TeamSpeak, and we're recording the audio through TeamSpeak. So you can blame any real problems on TeamSpeak. But TeamSpeak's awesome, so don't blame it too much. It gets very sensitive.
Yeah, it does.
It's a lovely program, so yeah.
It's a mama's boy.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we had week's matches. We did stuff. People fought really badly. They didn't do a good job.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
it wasn't one of our better weeks for matches.
No, it most certainly wasn't. Let's go into specifics. Let me find what the matches were. See, this is why I get HK involved, because he just does all the organization for me. It's great.
I know, right? He has everything. He even has his little do thing, which I will never admit this to him directly, but I got used to.
Nice. All right. We were on week 14, weren't we? That makes sense.
Yes, we were.
Okay, cool. I'm organized. Right. So the first match was Ginyu Force versus Margins, which Margins took home quite convincingly, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were pretty hardcore.
Yep. It was literally Ginyu's last chance at the playoffs, and now they are solidly out.
Yes.
Was it their they actually? Yeah, I guess so. If the Rugrats lost twice, and
Yep.
it's funny because during the recording, I say these things and none of them are true. Like, hey, they've got a chance. Hey, they're out, and they do have a chance, and no, they're not out. And
That's brilliant. It was an interesting decision actually to bring Guldo out, given what the Margins are known for. Like, I wonder what the thinking behind that was.
I'm a little curious too.
I don't agree with it in the slightest.
Neither do I. It really doesn't make any sense. But I'd be curious to know what the reasoning was.
I would have rather seen Birder out first because
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Majub. I mean,
my
Majub
thinking,
is-
my only thinking is maybe they thought sacrificial lamb, throw Golder out there, see if he can do something.
yeah.
But I think that's a flawed thinking.
I think one, that's a flawed thinking, and two, I don't think Guldo is bad enough that you need to throw out a sacrificial lamb. When you have people that can counter Marju,
Right.
but when you look at Berta, maybe Captain Ginyu potentially, and also you look at what the Ginyu, what the Margins are coming out with later. I could quite easily see Guldo actually standing toe to toe maybe with Bobbity, potentially. That has with those full power energy wave volley things, he can quite easily knock Bobbity out of any kind of move he's looking to do without too much difficulty.
That's definitely what I would have done. Is that I think Goldo's a much better character than Bobbity, all told. I would have tried to pair those two up.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was a weird choice to go to, and then also going with, I don't know, a weird combination of what looks to be like an attempted stun and blast build, like key blast build. You're looking at Master fucking hell Chrome. God damn it. You're looking at like Master Blast, then Secret Measures and Exquisite Skill. It looks like a build that you're looking to stun people with the key blasts with, and maybe get off some Psychokinesis or something, and then yeah.
Does Goldo have
weird.
one of those energy blasts that stuns people?
What, one of the B ones?
No, not the B1s, the energy blast. You've
Pretty
got
sure.
rush blasts, and then you've got the charge rush blasts, which is what we call an energy blast. And some people's will stun a person.
I'm
If he
sure
does, then
Exquisite Skill doesn't affect that.
I think
no,
exquisite
I don't think it
skill affects anything that stuns an opponent.
does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it would affect energy blasts that also do stuns. Now, if Goldo has one of those, I see the logic behind it, but I would caution and say it's not going to be worth the point.
It's not the focus of it shouldn't be the focus of the build. I'm also not sure he does. I think it's a big flinch move, but I don't think it actually stuns people. It feels to me like this is more of a focus on, like with secret measures and exquisite skill, it's more of a focus on the psychokinesis type move.
Yeah.
And actually trying to get that to do stuff, which is a cool idea in and of itself.
Or the only thing I can think of is that they thought maybe what he'll do is he'll stun people and then hit them with a Rush Blast volley, which again, while it's true he may do that, and I see where you're going with it, probably not worth the points you're putting into it.
Yeah.
Unless you can consistently show that all Guldo does is stun and Rush Blast.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you need to make sure that if you're going to do that kind of build, that you have someone who's Rush Blaster powerful enough for it. You know, there are some people that can do Rush Blast decent enough for a full volley of them will do a small B2. Yeah.
Oh, small B2? No. Dude, I checked this out. Third form Frieza with Rush Blasts and everything increasing it, one Rush Blast volley, 10,000 points of...
That has a huge amount of potential for certain characters. I'm pretty sure Guldo is not one of those characters, though.
No, probably not.
But yeah, it was a good performance from the margins. They did reasonably well. I mean, that ultimate from Bobbity, like basically 20,000 points of damage, was fucking amazing. Actually hitting on hell with an ultimate is like holy shit. Like he spent the entire season hitting the terrain with those, but no.
Dude, Spopovich even launched an ultimate. Didn't connect, but still, he launched it. That's unusual.
Yeah, the potential and that's cool. It's especially been really interesting with Spopovich that TNAI has been such a melee heavy AI.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's probably going to come to a point that I probably end up touching on quite a lot, is the thing with AIs is that, and this will probably be something that comes up in the questions actually, but I might as well address it here initially. The thing with AIs is just because they have a certain description is not even a general idea, from what we can tell at the minute, of what they're actually going to do. In an awful lot of cases, it's kind of a bit touch and go. There are some AIs that perform nicely and consistently, like Tien's a general good one for very aggressive people. Frieza's a pretty good one if you want a few B2s and an ultimate, and maybe a few earlier transformations, maybe?
Yeah, B2, I mean, Boo is usually good for melee. What I have found is that those descriptions are kind of accurate for about 70% of the league. And that 70% is not stable. In other words, Boo AI on 70% of the people in the league will behave somewhat consistently, or TNAI on 70% of the people will cause them to throw out ultimates generally often. But there's a 30% batch that it seems to behave completely differently, and this 30% is not the same. It's not like these people always behave differently on AIs. No, TNAI may work perfectly on Salza, but Boom AI may work completely different on Salza for some unknown reason. Most of the time, it will generally behave right, but there are some characters, for whatever reason, Spopovich is a great example. TNAI on most people will throw out super ultimates consistently. On Spopovich, though, it doesn't. Don't know why.
It's really interesting, and it's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself.
No,
but it's something that the margins have been able to take very good advantage of.
Indeed.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody got anything else to add for that one?
I was sad.
Yeah, I was really sad too. I really want Ginyu to win, because...
No, you wanted the margin to lose.
Same difference.
What? No, I'm
not the
happy.
same difference.
I personally would have rather have seen Ginyu instead of Rugrats, because I would have
that's what I was about
rather
to say.
have fought
I'd
Rugrats.
rather go up against the Ginyu Force than the Rugrats.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Fucking ulterior motives of the defenders.
Yeah.
Taking over the Zcast, everybody, it's terrible. I'm being held prisoner. Anything positive I say, I don't mean it. It's awful. I'm being tortured.
So Ginyu.
This is us sitting here not denying anything.
Yeah, we're not denying anything. It's fine.
They're torturing me by their presence.
Good news, Ginyu. You can use your last match of the season as a test.
Congratulations, you won stuff.
Yes, at least you can take that away.
Hey, you shouldn't underestimate that. It's very rare to get such a huge testing potential.
No, absolutely.
It's true.
It is. But it is only one match. It is
I
only
wish
one
we
match
were able
testing.
to do that with ED,
Well,
but
you could do.
I'm gonna have to try and win now.
Like
Yeah,
you weren't
Because
before.
Majin's won. God dang it. Anyways, on to the next match. Androids versus Boo.
Yep. Which Android
That was a
won.
good match.
Yeah. I was really surprised. It took pretty much all season, but Oob did stuff solidly.
On Goku AI, nonetheless.
Yeah.
I love how I'm sitting there going, oh my god, the Team Cold and Gohans definitely want Boo to lose because that means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter because they
Absolutely
beat
football.
both those teams, so who cares?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, as we were saying last week in the Zcast, it didn't actually matter. The only match that mattered for Cold and Gohans was the Cold and Gohans match.
yep.
Mhm.
We'll get to that one later. No, the
Mhm.
Boos did really well actually. Especially Gohan Boo. He's typically been a bit of a problem child this season, but man, he was really on the ball today.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say though, exception of it not connecting, I still think 20 had one of the best combos this season. Stand there,
Yeah.
let Oob charge up his Kamehameha all the way, suck up the bitch, go all the way to max power, and launch an ultimate. If that had connected, it would have been beautiful.
I
It would have
kind
been
of
a really
missed
good combo.
Yeah, I kind of missed Gohan Boo from back when he was really, really scary.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's weird how that's kind of changed. But no, he did fantastically well in that game, and he was a real terror to go up against. And it's cool again to see how that TNAI works in just terms of going up really aggressive and really melee focused. With the odd B2 being thrown in there. So yeah, it's really cool.
Kid Boo was his usual self, which is always. But
Yeah.
I think the androids were just solid all the way through. They were very, very solid, which was
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's good to see that the androids have actually been able to turn around from being relatively inconsistent to actually being what they were a couple of seasons ago in terms of threats compared to other teams.
And I believe they're at the top of their division now, aren't they?
Probably.
Because I think it was them and the Blades, and
solidly.
the Blades lost.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they are. They're 7-7 at the minute. It's
Oops,
really good.
spoilers.
Meh.
Uh,
Yeah, you're off. You're off, Squeak. You're off the Zcast. Fuck off.
No!
You're done. Nobody saw
Take
that
my-
one coming.
I'm
Seriously.
gonna take my paddle ball and go home.
It's alright. I have burnt head. It'll be fine.
wait, what?
What?
No!
Read the small print, dude. Read the small print.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, no, 17 was fantastic. I enjoyed watching 17 play.
Yes.
17 play is always fun. And an interesting build actually using Warrior's Lineage as in a combination with Boo AI on a super build, which is a really cool way of doing things. With an AI that I imagine throws out B2s reasonably consistently, but also 17's melee. It's fantastic. It's
Who's
he's a
on
really solid melee
Boo
character.
AI?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
and again, that goes to another thing. Boo AI typically is a melee-based AI, but on 17, man, he loves some of those beats.
Yeah. But using that quick fast attack on Warriors and Warrior Lineage. Warrior Lineage is a fantastic Patara, actually, for B2 focused characters, and it doesn't sound like it. Because
That's like the upgraded active heart, right?
No.
No.
It halves key use for dragon dashing, I think. And,
And auto counter.
yes,
Yeah, that
yes, very nice.
because you're doing those things and you're using less key. It's fantastic. It's a really, really good idea. It's a really good Patara to use. It was one of the
Especially
reasons.
on an android.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of the reasons initially that when I was at Cold and I put it on King Cold was one of the main reasons he initially started doing so well, was because after doing a series of melee stuff, he actually had key left over.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was throwing out B2. So yeah, it's a fantastic Patara to use.
I completely concur with that. It's one of those Patara. I didn't think about it at first, but now that I see the potential, yeah, I think it's underutilized by a lot of B2 characters.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But so were a lot of Pataras.
Just like Draconic or.
I don't.
We can get onto that one later. Alright, on to the next match, which is Muscle versus Rugrats. What?
Really quickly, I don't think putting Warriors Lineage on a B2 character will just automatically fix it.
Of course not.
On certain ones,
No, I disagree.
maybe.
I think it will. I think absolutely
Sure.
I think full stop. I don't think you even need the other 5 points.
Yeah, no, you don't need
yeah.
to put Patars on. Just warrior lineage and default AI, and you are absolutely sorted.
Okay.
Alternatively, continue having
as
burn
long
state
as you
the obvious.
deposit $2,000 into an envelope and mail it to this PO box, your character will always win.
Yep.
By the
Split
way,
it
we
50-50.
can no longer live stream the league.
Yeah, you're just gonna be told the results of the matches. Yeah. Yeah. No, burn is correct. Unusual.
Of course I am.
All right, next match: Muscle versus Rugrats.
Yay!
You go 10. That was what I remember from that match. No,
Yeah.
go 10.
Trunks
Go-
was good too.
Mhm.
Ah, Trunks is always good. Trunks
Yeah.
has to be good, otherwise he's not Trunks.
Goten was good. The Rugrats, as much as I would have preferred them losing,
Winning.
as much as I preferred them winning, yeah, because I like to see the Saiyans keeping, but actually it all worked out for the best, so I don't really mind. I mean, I didn't want Muscle to win because I wanted the Saiyans to keep their dreams alive, but their dreams are still alive, so it's fine. It all worked out for the best, I suppose. But
yeah,
it was a
Breathing
nice
Heavenly a
match.
bit pale, but yeah, no, it's still alive.
It was a good match. Chi-Chi is continuing to surprise me. She's obviously not the strongest character in the league, but she is far stronger than I expected her to be.
Yeah, I agree. Go.
I don't honestly know what to say about the match. I mean, it was really back and forth for a while.
It was. The problem is I don't think there were any strong performances from Muscle. Were adequate, but there wasn't anything stand out. Bojack had a few nice moments, like the ultimate point blank shotgun range. But overall, Broly was rather unimpressive. Bojack was Android 13 really was adequate, which for Android 13 is not great.
I think that's a thing that you can pretty much say about Muscle right now this season. Is right now they are adequate. They will get wins, and I think that's about as much as you can say. And it's a real shame because the Muscle of previous seasons has been incredible, and it's a shame that we don't, not to the same level as before, but the essence of the team's still there, and it's just a shame that it's not been shown.
Well, and unfortunately for them too, they don't even get a test week because they've got to win next week.
Yeah.
In order to keep their chances alive, they can't. They don't want to just hope that Saiyans lose.
No, they can't afford to.
Well, it's going to be really hard for them because they go against the Super Saiyans.
That's true.
Saiyans, as far as I'm concerned, Saiyans pretty much need to win, and
Saiyans are against Ginyu.
And that'll be it.
Yeah. Which, like I said, I think, as I've said in weeks past, I think the Saiyans have the better chance of the Muscle of qualifying. I'm pretty sure the Saiyans.
I really
did
kind of
beat them,
agree with
didn't
you. Yeah. Yeah, Saiyans beat Muscle.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So
Good.
basically, if Saiyans win next week and Muscle loses, Saiyans are in the playoffs, hands down. Period. Full stop.
Indeed.
If Muscle wins, the Muscle's in. Full stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Either way. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting week 15 for that division.
Well, not just for that division, for pretty much every division. I think it's going to be not for. I don't think North is going to be particularly interesting.
No, not really.
Basically, East, West, and
and
South. Pretty much. North
We'll
is
have
going to be
something
tedious.
to
Nobody
look
gives a
forward
shit
to.
about North.
I'm actually it's good though because we've had seasons in the past where week 15, who the flip cares? Everything's been decided.
No,
it's all
absolutely.
no. There's I like it that at least every division except for North Kai, someone is fighting for something, whether it be a bye week or a playoff spot.
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, I'm not too sure about East.
Yeah,
pretty sure Derp are out completely. Not
yes,
sure what the
Derp is
situation
out
is.
completely.
Not sure what the situation is between Androids and Blades.
They are.
Derp is out completely. Androids, I'd have to look and see who won between those two because if Androids lose and Blades win, then they'd be tied again, and it would come down to who won when they faced each
Androids won week 1.
Okay, well
So it
then
doesn't
Androids
matter.
have the bye week.
Okay, so
Yep.
East Kai is irrelevant as well. So basically, West Kai and South Kai is really interesting.
Hey,
And
so
South Kai is only interesting for the bye week.
And
yep.
with West Kai, there's
Any one of
2
them
wins
Can, yeah.
between the bottom and the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That is
it's
an
really cool.
incredibly close division.
Oh yes.
All on or above average as well
Yes.
in terms of their win-loss rate, which is really nice to see as well. But yeah, that match was, with the exception of the performance of Goten, which really stuck out in my mind. Bearing in mind I watched these things at like 8 o'clock in the morning after having about 3 hours
It's
sleep.
weird because Goten's match didn't really stand in my mind.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
he did okay. I remember he did well. I know he hit with the brothers Kamehameha, which was always fun.
I
think he hit with 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
too.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He hit with 2, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I like Goten. I think
Yeah,
Goten's an awesome
it's all
character.
a little fuzzy for me. I was drugged, so
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Who takes
I
half
kind
a
of
muscle relaxer
accidentally
on accident? What?
and I'd already had a really rough day, so yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I was tired and stressed, so that's pretty much my excuse for not remembering that match particularly well. I'm now drinking just to get rid of the whole thing, so.
And burn is burn. So
Burn is burn and it's completely
Hey,
useless.
hey!
What
the hell?
Listen, without Aishike, you're relegated to the punching bag. There's nothing I can do, I'm sorry.
Guess I am the intern. Jeez.
Yeah. Aishike still hasn't advanced from that position, despite doing most of the
Nope.
work.
and we haven't even told him he has that position.
No, yeah. As far as he's concerned, he's still on the job interview.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so next match was Derp versus Dragon Ball Warriors, and oh my fucking god, was that a terrible game?
Yep.
Oh my, yeah, that was Derp just let Dragon Ball Warriors tear them. And it's sad too because Derp didn't have a build posted, and we as a staff didn't want the team to suffer too much, considering that this was like their last chance. So we kind of helped put together a build for them on the fly, and they still got trashed.
Hercule did well. Hercule did okay.
Yes,
Yep.
he did. Oh, I will say that was one of the highlights of the week. Nom destroys everyone, and then Hercule comes out there and says, "All right, this ends now.
You're well.
Enough of this."
yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that.
That was fantastic.
But yeah, no, Nom was fucking awesome. Yeah, it was pretty much. I mean, pretty much just after as far as I was concerned, after Nom took out the first person, it was over because Derp isn't strong enough to do that kind of thing without an exceptional breakout performance from anyone.
No,
they are just not
I'm
in that league. They just can't. They
I'm
cannot
with
do
you.
it.
They can be, but they'll need
They
a lot
can
of
be.
work
They
to
could
get
be.
there.
They could
Yeah.
be. But with what they've done this season, it's been abysmal for them, and there is no way they were getting out of that one. I think their chances of victory anyway against a team like Dragon Ball Warriors were slim to begin with. But after that, just initial destruction by Nam. Like even before we got to the second person, it was pretty much game over from that point on.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of a boring match as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty one-sided, with the exception of Hercule's brief fight back. It was horrifically one-sided.
I'm pretty sure Nam is elite. I'm
Yeah.
There's no stats for him
yes.
yet, but I've already made him a badge, and I'm just waiting for the number.
Yeah. That's cool. Then on to one of the qualifying matches for this week. I think one of the few.
Yeah.
One of the few qualifying matches for this week, or one of the only ones, maybe. Was Cold versus Gohans, which Gohans took horrendously convincingly. I'm pretty sure.
Gosh, yes.
Which player was it that didn't step out on the field?
Future Gohan.
Jesus Christ.
Future Gohan.
Probably like one of their
And
best players right now.
I feel bad for Cold because their builds were solid, their characters just didn't perform. I mean, Frieza was abysmal.
Yeah, Frieza
Didn't
was
even
terrible.
transform once. It was bad. it was a combination of the Gohans really being on the ball and Freeze and Team Cold just not showing up that day.
Yeah, no, the Gohans did incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
Team Gohans.
It was neck and neck for the first half, which was really cool, but then it was just a slow, steady decline.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
Especially when Team Gohan started throwing out the Kamehameha, the cutscene Kamehameha, it was just...
Yes.
Yeah,
that was painful.
It wasn't a friendly match by any stretch of the imagination. I think the Gohans are by far the better team, certainly this season, and over past seasons, but, you know, their results have been less than spectacular. I still think they're a better team.
I agree, and I think that the Gohans have a much better chance of taking on and beating the Boos. I really think that they could.
I think the Gohans have got
playoffs.
a good chance of getting possibly even to the semi-finals if they sharpen up their ideas and the way they're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of their base team, I think they have a solid chance of taking on the Super Saiyans.
It's true.
But I mean, obviously, it needs a hell of a lot of work.
I honestly, I was thinking about that too, and a lot of people would disagree just because they'll look at the win-loss records for the Super Saiyans. But the thing is, Super Saiyans are not unbeatable. Lots of teams have gotten really close. Earth Defenders got really close, and you know, and there was just a couple things didn't go their way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I honestly think I'm with you. I think that they are beatable. It's not like their road to the Tenkaichi Bowl is assured. I think if Gohan's really, really plan for the match, I think they can take him out. I think that there's lots of teams. Majins have a good chance of taking him out. Even the androids, with their abilities to stay in that match, would have a good chance against them if they plan for them specifically.
I don't look at a single team that is at the top or potentially going through into the semi-finals that I genuinely think has a chance of going through the semi-finals that I think can't beat the Super Saiyans. You know, you look at Dragon Ball Warriors, I think are pretty much almost guaranteed to take North Kai, to be honest. Not North Kai, West Kai. I think they've probably got the best chance of making it through there. I think they can definitely beat Super Saiyans. They nearly did. You know, the Earth Defenders I'm pretty sure could do it. The Majins on their day could definitely do it. The Gohans I think could certainly do it. I'm not convinced the Boos could, but I mean, there's potential. There's certainly potential there.
Yeah, I think even Valkyries could do it. It would be a struggle, but I really think they could. If they had a Rayleigh and Fasha working like they should be, then I think that Fasha could wipe the floor with half that team.
I don't see the Valkyries beating them, to be honest with you.
I'm not completely convinced by that. I think they will take out one Vegeta, and then the other Vegeta will come in and take out Fasha. Then,
well, I will also
Rayleigh
say
would
I
have
will
to take
agree
out
with
the
you
other
that
one.
I will agree with you that the ones you
don't.
listed have a much better chance of winning against Super Saiyans. I agree. I'm saying that I think the Vals could do it. I don't think it would be an easy win.
I don't think they could.
Or even
I think a Rayleigh and Fasha definitely could put up a fight and hold their own side. I think they'd probably trade 1 for 1.
Well, here's
I'm
a better way
pretty
to
sure
put
that's
it.
the thing. I don't think the rest of the team stands up to the Super Saiyans.
Well, here's a better way to put it. I don't think that Majins, Earth Defenders, Androids, or Gohans would even really be considered underdogs if they planned and prepared properly. I think the Vals would be considered underdogs, certainly.
I think the Vals would be considered massive underdogs. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think, you know, at the end of the day, any team stands a chance. But I think, yeah, with the, like, Earth Defenders, Majins, Dragon Ball Warriors, maybe Androids are the only teams I would consider that have a good chance that are possibly on an even footing.
I mean, the ED versus Super Saiyans match, we were within 1,000 HP, but we didn't have Yamcha.
Yeah.
One of our best fighters, arguably. So it would be interesting. Yeah, except for this week. Well, he was okay. He just lost a clash with
What did I
Dragon
tell you guys
Power.
about putting different costumes on?
Havoc asked me to. I figured why not, because we haven't
It's a
seen
good thing you
those
did not
costumes.
put Krillin in his hair.
Yeah.
If he'd put Krillin in his hair, we would have lost so badly, we would have actually gone down in the rankings.
shit.
Next time, put Krillin in his hair. Totally want to see that maths.
Maybe for the playoff, or not the playoffs,
Awesome.
but the preseason.
No, the
I was gonna
finals.
say, what the hell?
No,
Put
not
him in the MVP.
playoffs.
Put him in the MVP with his hair.
Nice.
Perhaps, if we choose to. I mean,
Yes.
unlike Rugrats or a couple of other teams, we don't know what our MVP is already.
I think he's definitely
Yeah,
Chi-Chi.
because we got a lot to choose from. Even Chaozu. Okay, well, we'll get to our match later. But
This isn't an Earth Defenders chat forum, okay? guys, you guys really that's a Skype. You get off my team speak with that bullshit.
Wait a second. I'm looking at the title of this video. I think it really should say Earth Defenders chat forum. You're gonna have to fix that.
I'm going to boot you on this team speak so fucking hard.
Okay, anyways.
On to the next
match.
It was Super Saiyans vs. Blade, and the Blades narrowly got their asses kicked.
Oh, they solidly got their
Yeah,
asses
if
kicked.
Yajirobe had did what I told him to, and Sensu Bean.
They would have still got their asses kicked.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before the Zcast, and I brought this up before. Don't want people to get the wrong impression. While the Super Saiyans may be testing builds, so it's all great to say, "Oh my God, they're winning," even though they're on test builds. And don't get me wrong, I do agree that the Super Saiyans are a phenomenal team, but if you look at their test builds, you can easily look at that build and say, "Yeah, I could see him winning with this." So it's not like the Super Saiyans are just throwing on random crap and still winning. That's not what's going on.
The reason the Super Saiyans are where they are, and I've said this week after week after week, the reason the Super Saiyans are where they are and the reason they're such a dominating team is because the team behind them knows what the fuck they're doing. Mostly. HJK and Himmel have been there since... Well, it's HJK, I mean, come on. HJK and Himmel have been there for...
He's not here, Rebel. Have to...
No, I do. Just on principle, God. Somewhere in the world right now, HJK is feeling this and just flinching, and it's awesome.
he's like, I feel like someone's berating me.
Yeah. But no, HJK and Himmel have been there since forever, and they're a really good team. They know the players, they know the builds, they know how everything works, and they're just a very, very good team. And the Super Saiyans, in and of themselves, if you just left them to their own, left the players to their own devices, they wouldn't be where they are now. And I think that's something that people forget quite readily when they look at the win-loss record, that there is in fact a very solid team behind that actually doing stuff. So yeah.
Yep.
I think the Blades had a good chance. I think the Blades had a chance in terms of, the team they were putting out. But, yeah.
I think the Blades had a chance until Tapion got destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Tapion. Sorry, I'm eating rice. You guys continue.
Okay.
He missed with so many B2s, it's not even funny.
Yeah. I don't know, I find it quite interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I just...
Funny or entertaining? We need to put a difference between there, because I thought it was entertaining.
Oh. I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny as well. I mean, God. Get a sense of humor, Squeeze.
I think they needed to get the loss out of their system now so that they can win next week.
Yes.
Yeah, they
yes.
really
win next
really
week.
do.
Durangel, god damn it.
You're my bro.
Send me your
dude.
PO box information so I can bribe you with as much cash as I can get together.
It's like
Win
$2?
against the goddamn Majins. Shut up, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. We're peanuts is what we get here.
Yeah, Squee doesn't pay you enough.
Yeah, I don't get paid.
I pay you all I have. Peanuts.
They arrive moldy and smelly and
Yeah.
packet slightly torn. It's terrible.
You're gonna have to get with FedEx on that one. Yeah.
Squee, seriously, you're not supposed to put them in tissue paper? Just
What?
saying. Yeah.
What do you mean I don't ship them in water?
No wonder they get here moldy.
Glorious.
I think you guys are pulling my chain.
No, seriously, that's what I send them, and I just sign it. The return address is yours. Okay. On to the next match. Saiyans versus Namek.
It was fun match. Saiyans dominated at the end there, and wow, King Vegeta went ape and went ballistic. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
You know, I like that part of the commentary. You know, you can go ahead and charge up for B2, King. No, you're just gonna keep grabbing? Okay.
Yeah.
You're just gonna grab again? Okay.
Grabbing over and over.
That ape grab is just nasty, though. Seriously.
Yeah. It
ape
really
grab
is
ridiculous. Nice.
I'm really impressed with what they've done with King, and a lot of it
especially
is due
the
to
last
the fact,
few weeks, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of it is due to the fact that they are starting to use AIs that have been thoroughly tested in the minors. So.
Yeah, it's a solid
really
idea.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's taking every advantage they possibly can.
I agree, and it's fun to see them too because they're fighting. You know, the past few weeks has been a must-win to keep our hopes alive, and they've been doing it.
No, absolutely.
Which is a blast to see.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Aura Charge Ultimate 4 on Turles. It's a fantastic guitar to use. Really powerful.
Oh, yeah, this is just in your... Wasteful.
And he got to finish his fruit, which is always good.
Yeah, all down to the Aura Charge thing. It's fantastic. It's great. It's
Shut up,
OP.
Rebel.
Is there a problem, bro?
No.
I don't know, you sound awfully cranky.
I did only have like 3 hours of sleep or something. 3 or 4.
Should have gone to bed earlier. God, the fuck, dude.
Yeah, you kept wanting to play stuff.
No, I didn't.
It's not my fault.
I wasn't doing anything. Hey, listen, fuck you. I went out for an exam. You could have gone to bed at any point during that time.
I guess.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me for this.
Shut up, Rebel.
No.
You can blame me if you want. I don't care.
Okay, so the rest of that match was pretty cool. I'm surprised that Scouter didn't do anything.
Didn't? No. Yeah, he had to rely on the rest of his team to carry him. That was odd.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was the armor.
Yeah, it was the armor. It
Absolutely,
really was.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Did you do that, Squee, or was it?
It says costume 4 in the builds thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
costume 4.
Shit.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that. Crazy?
Yeah, ma'am. You got a problem with
that? No, not really.
Cool. Yeah, match was interesting. It was, I don't know, matches this week have been really weird. Like, a lot of the time, quite unremarkable.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, it's in a weird week.
There's no real close matches, it's just like, eh.
Yeah.
A bunch of eh.
We won, but eh.
Yeah,
or
we
lost,
won, but we're really not happy about the way we performed.
Yeah.
We won because the other team were more shit. Speaking of which, on to the last match. We have the Earth Defenders versus the Valkyries.
Yes.
Take it away, fanboys.
Actually, no. I'm rather pleased with at least the first part. We made kind of a risk on Chaozu, and man, did that pay off.
Oh God, yes.
Not only did it pay off, but Chaozu. Oh my God, he didn't get stunned too badly.
No, the Draconic Aura was his kryptonite. I tell you what. The Vals. I don't know what you guys were thinking, sticking Draconic Aura on Pan. I mean, who on the Earth Defenders were you expecting that to?
Yeah.
What?
I don't even. Yeah. The fuck, guys. Seriously. Like, here's the thing. I understand the point of testing builds out. It's cool. Yeah, you're pretty much secure, I'm pretty sure, in terms of actually getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, they are.
I think they beat the Saiyans, so they're secure in that. That's cool. Doesn't matter. But as we said with the Super Saiyans earlier on, testing builds is great, but the actual fuck are you doing? Testing builds is great, but if your builds don't make any sense, there is absolutely no fucking point testing anything, because all it ends up being is a shit AI test.
Agreed.
Something that is just, you know, has so many more advantages than you that it's not even funny. So, cool, do testing, but seriously, do testing intelligently. Draconic Aura is not going to do anything to the Earth Defenders. Yeah, Power Body and Ultimate Body are not a thing anymore. It's not going to do... It might do something against Light Body. Maybe. You're talking about the potential of a Ki Blast to interrupt a B1, and you spend 3 points on that. That is not an efficient use of your Pataras, and that is not something you want to put on someone who is as bad as Pan is, under any circumstances. Like, even against Muscle, I would not say put Draconic Aura on Pan. Because there's other shit you need to do before you go for the fancy, let's make them, flinch a bit when we punch them. There are other things you need before you do that. But against the Earth Defenders, I got nothing. I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, there are times and places for Draconic Aura, but against the Earth Defenders?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that...
That's all I need to say there.
I have a feeling that...
But,
To be honest, I think the Vals just threw the match because they didn't want to be Northkai because of the Northkai curse, according to Huzzah. But...
Why don't they want to be in... They don't want to be in Northkai because of what?
Northkai curse.
What?
That's so lame. That's a cop-out. It seriously is. Being in Northkai is an honor. And to suggest that it's not is...
Yeah, the whole point of going through the entire season looking to win games is to get to Northkai. If you don't have confidence in your team and you don't think that they can get to that point, you shouldn't be there. Seriously.
Yep.
To put a really fine, sharp point on it, you shouldn't be there. You have to... The whole point of this is that everybody is making the same general level of effort and everybody is looking to win. So, that's all I've got to say on that one.
I hope that that's not the case. I would hate to see any team throw any match for any reason. The mentality of... And here's the thing. I suppose it might be a valid mentality of I'd rather get into a weaker division so I have a better chance of winning. But it's an incredibly unsportsmanlike mentality.
Not only that,
and
but
you're
it
doing
also
your
doesn't
entire
make any
team
sense.
a disservice.
It also doesn't make any sense. Because at the end of the day, unless you're basically turning around... Because, okay, let me take you through this, okay? In and of itself, saying, we're going to throw the match so we get down to a lower division. Right, one, seriously don't fucking do it, because it's retarded, and if you are not willing to compete fully, step aside and, watch from the sidelines, because there are people who will genuinely want to compete. Now, you then go through that mentality and think of it as a logical and winning point of view. So we want to get into a weaker division so that we can get into the playoffs and get to the finals and win. Well, hang on a second. You're still fighting those stronger teams. The teams that you supposedly don't want to compete against. You still end up having to face at least one of them at some point. So the logic doesn't actually work.
It's true that it gives them a better shot of getting into the playoffs. It doesn't give them a better shot of winning the playoffs, but it does get them a better shot of getting into the playoffs. But it's
but 3 out of every 4 teams in every division gets to the playoffs. You have to play really, genuinely quite badly most seasons to not get into the playoffs, or be in such a difficult division in terms of, like, if you look at Westkei. Westkei's been the closest division we've had since ever, as far as I can remember. In terms of getting into the playoffs. I think maybe there was an East Kai at one point that was that close, but it was probably further apart than that, certainly by the end of the season, certainly by this point of the season. So
now, to be fair, because I don't want it to sound like too harsh, at least I personally am not actually accusing you of throwing the match. We are simply saying that the idea was so out there and so crazy that you went with that idea that I really, really hope that's not what you were thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to know what the logic is behind that, because I don't see any. I'd also like to know what the logic was behind the lineup. In terms of Farsha coming out last. Because here's the thing, you could make the argument that and I'm pretty sure the Valkyries have done. In fact, I know the Valkyries have done. What am I kidding? I know the Valkyries have done. Have made the argument that the Earth Defenders know that Fasha generally starts, so we counter that by putting out someone who's not Fasha. And yet, the reason Fasha is good is because she starts and gets your team off to an amazing start. And quite a lot of the time tags, as far as I remember. I'm not wrong there, am I?
Yeah. She has a lot of tags.
Yeah.
Let me double check that.
So let's go on the assumption that she tags quite a lot, because I vaguely remember her tagging quite a bit, and then comes back in and does a reasonable amount of stuff for a tagging.
Yep.
That, you're basically trying to put her out last when she goes into that position. She's trying to then come out last to do what? No tags? And potentially come up against someone who is in a much stronger position, as well as coming up against multiple people in a different position that she usually comes out at.
There is a logical reason I could see for it. Fasha is one of the strongest characters and needs testing the least. So if this was just a test week and they didn't care about winning or losing, they just cared about testing their teammates, throw her out last so that you have a greater chance of everyone else coming in and having their tests done. I get that part, so I'm okay with the lineup. But if that really was your case, again, Draconic Ore.
No, absolutely. There's also the thing of characters respond differently depending on where they come out. So there are some characters that make fantastic starters, but shit tag-ins. I would say that Krillin might be one of those characters, off the top of my head. I'm not convinced of that. I've not paid enough attention to make that case, but I think he's probably one of them. I think Frieza's probably another one that does arguably an awful lot better as a starter. And I think Fasha's another one of those, because you're starting off in entirely different circumstances to the circumstances you'd otherwise be in when you're tagging in. Things are a hell of a lot different. Sometimes there's momentum in a character's favor. Sometimes you're going to get smacked in the face by a B2 that's been fired. You're just going to be in a different position. And Fasha starting is strong for a reason. So. I see your logic behind it, Squid. Like, you want everybody else to come out before your ace player. But I'm not convinced.
Yep. I am with you. I think that was probably where the logic was going, but then again, you have to explain the choices you made.
Yeah. So I would
but
be
on the Earth Defender side, Chaozu did amazing. Everyone else had, honestly, a mediocre performance. I think it came down more to the Vals, with the exception of Sailwoman, who was I gotta stop saying phenomenal. It was fantastic. She really performed well. The rest of the team just kind of didn't do that good.
Yeah,
it was generally an underwhelming game for both sides. There was an awful lot of really quite bad play, with the exception of Chaozu and Sailwoman. Yeah. Cool. Anything? Coaches of Earth Defenders? Wow.
I really have just one thing to say. We fucking won! Woo!
Loving it.
Yep.
I will say that if nothing else, you can use this as a good example of our team has gone, since week 5, has gone 9-1. And it's not because, and no one could argue, it's not because the Earth Defenders are incredibly powerful as a team, as a base team.
Right, argument head on.
No, it's because every single week the Earth Defenders team has sat down, looked at who they're playing, and looked at what best possible ways to counter said team. It wasn't just a matter of making our characters stronger, which was always an issue as well. But there was, I would say, the majority of the conversation was geared towards how do we beat not anyone, but how do we beat this team? How do we take down this team? And every once in a while, it wouldn't matter. Like last week in the Majins, we had all these plans and none of them mattered. But for the most part, if you go back and you look at the matches and you look at the builds, you can see how those builds countered what they were going up against. And gave us 9 wins out of 10, yeah.
I could just read a small excerpt of my post from right after we beat the Majins. Right, now on to week 4. We're against the Valkyries. They're guaranteed to have a rally bench this week. So we need to only worry about Fasha. Granted, she's really good. However, once she falls, the rest of the team should fall like a house of cards.
Pretty much what I would have summed up in terms of the Valkyrie's performance this season. I agree.
So, I called their lineup to be Fasha, 18, Seiya Woman, Pan. That was their best chance at killing us, or at winning.
I agree.
And to try and counter it, we put out Chaozu, generally our weakest person, then Goku, so that Chaozu would do a non-zero amount of damage. Goku would come in, finish Fasha, the rest should be pretty much good. Then Krillin and Yamcha to finish out the match. Then Havoc, one of my supporters, said, how are we going to beat Fasha? I said, my thought is straight up brute force. Chaozu should hopefully do non-zero amount of damage. If everything works, they get the ringer off the field, we'll be able to start knocking the rest of them down. Since our team's power will be focused on the closer, not the opener. If they don't end up putting Fasha first or second, we should be able to get rid of 18, Pan, or Seiya Woman quite handily, and then come to Fasha with a lead. Which happened.
Yes. And that is exactly why I think putting out Fasha first is the best idea, and putting out Pan and not putting out Fasha first is a really weird decision.
And I think that this kind of conversation is what every team should be having every single week. And we don't see it a lot. We see it more often this season than we have in the past. And there have been some teams who have always done it. But I think every single team should be having this kind of conversation. Who are we up against? What do they usually do? Why are they so strong? What can we do to counter that? And a lot of teams only concentrate on how can we make our team strong.
I think the only team I know of that has done the whole prepare for your opponents, and certainly the team that did it first, were the Super Saiyans. Most other teams over the seasons, and certainly this season as well, have looked at things, or certainly the early part of the season, I'm sorry, have looked at the opposing team and gone, okay, here's what we think is going to happen, so we're going to alter our lineup, maybe, to counter this. And that's something the Super Saiyans did way, way back, like, pretty much as soon as we had that general sort of thing going, and they'd sort of gotten themselves comfortable. So maybe, what, season 3, perhaps? I think it might have been. We started seeing that sort of thing from them. I know I did it a bit while I was at Cold, but a lot of the time it's a case for a lot of teams of thinking, okay, well, it's more important that we get our players doing what we want them to do. And there's arguments to go both ways, but the thing with trying to get your players to do what you want them to do, it's very, very risky. Because if you take every match as a testing match, every match is entirely different. So there is no consistency. You know, when you're doing a science experiment, right, you have a whole bunch of constants that you know will not change. So if you're doing a physics experiment, temperature will, as far as you can control it, be exactly the same thing. The materials you're using will be exactly the same thing. And you will change something. So in an electric circuit, you might change the voltage. You might change the number of things that are attached to the circuit. Yeah? And you have one thing that is your variable. In Dragon Ball Z League, you might say, okay, I'm having my AI. There's a fucking fly in my room and it's really pissing me off. You might have, say, an AI. The AI is your variable in this. Everything else, my Pataras, my lineup, my opponents, what my opponents are doing, is going to be constant. And the only thing that changes is my AI, and how that performs is what I'm looking at. And then based on that, you then say, okay, the AI is now the constant. I've got the AI that I want. I've got the AI doing what I want. And then you go on to test the build that then works for that. The problem with using matches for testing is unless you have, even when you have multiple matches, even when you have 6 weeks of matches where there is no change in your build at all, your AI is exactly the same, everything exactly the same, your opponents are changing. You have variables there, you know, your arena's changing as well. You know, there are variables there that you cannot control. And yeah, it's a really weird way of doing things. I don't like it kind of makes sense. It does make sense, and it's probably the best way of doing things, but it's certainly not reliable.
Yeah. I like using matches for testing for two reasons. One, it's kind of like a trial by fire, you know. It doesn't get more real than that. And two, it's the only real place that you get a chance to test full custom builds, you know. But unless you test it for 5 weeks in a row, you're not getting the same level of playtime that you would from a test.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a risky thing to do. I would point out though that, of course, like what Rebel said, where you test the AI first and then work on the build. There are of course times where, because of a certain player's strengths, you can make a build and then try and find the AI that fits it. But either way, you're still kind of falling under the same problems and complications and best way of going about it.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, it's certainly plausible that you can test, you know, that you can design a build for someone and say, right, I'm going to find the AI to fit this character.
Right, like a perfect
However,
example would be, let's say you have a character who has really good rush blasts, and you know that if you give him a rush blast build, he'll be great. And then you look and start testing different AI to see if you can find an AI that will throw out rush blast up the butt. But the problem with that is, I guess the thing to keep in mind with that is, don't get your heart set on a build. If you can't find an AI that makes it work, abandon the build. Period.
Because here's the thing, right? Okay, I'm going to give you examples of various different builds. Okay, so you go for a build that's super aggressive. That has like attack +2, defense -1. Like you say, you put right where it is going to be a melee focused character because B2s, are not anything special. So we're going to give him Master Strike as well, and we're going to make sure that everything physical and melee about him or her is absolutely spot perfect, and everything's great. And that character sits back and charges up.
Yeah.
And their supers get thrown out when they eventually have enough energy because they charge really slowly because they don't have any charge boosting Pataras, and their supers suck because they've got Master Strike on. So that right there says lost game. You have a player that is effectively useless. And that is the main risk of trialing builds first, AI second. You do AI first and you say, okay, we don't really like this because this B2 focus, this character we want to focus on B2s is doing melee, but he's doing a lot of melee. He's doing melee consistently. So we'll slap this melee build with Master Strike on and see what happens. That is a much more, it makes more sense. It is a much more solid basis to actually start building off than going, okay, here's a build, let's find the AI for it. It's less likely to go horribly wrong.
Indeed.
I agree. Which is why I said you're welcome to try the other method, but don't get your heart set on it. If you can't find the AI that makes your build work, AI is the glue that holds everything together. If you don't have the glue, it doesn't matter what parts you got.
Yeah.
So, yeah. With ya.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So,
anybody got anything
what are we
else
on to next?
How do we usually do this? Do we usually do questions next?
I
No,
think we do questions next.
We do standings next.
Predictions? Standings?
Oh, God.
Yes,
Why
so
do I
current
have this?
standings.
Burn, your job. Go on.
Okay, fine. Now, the Season 5 standings for... Okay, I'll stop.
Oh, awesome. No, go on.
Super Saiyans are at rank 1 in North Kai, with 13 wins, 1 losses.
I don't think they're going to make it.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it. The Boos are in second place with 5 wins, 9 losses. The Gohans are in third place with 5 wins and 9 losses. And Cold is in last place, knocked out of the playoffs with 4 wins and 10 losses. In East Kai, we have the Androids in top form, 7-7. The Blades behind them, 6-8. Namek, third at 5-9, and Derp bringing up the rear with 4-10. Now, West Kai, we have Dragon Ball Warriors with 9-5. Valkyries with 8-6. Actually, no, it should be... Yeah, Valkyries and Muscle are both 8-6. And Saiyans are 7-7. And in South Kai, Majins are in the lead, as always, 10-4. Earth Defenders are right behind him at 9-5. Rugrats trying to make it up with 7-7. And Ginyu is unfortunately knocked out with 5-9.
Well done, man. Very nicely.
I need more practice.
So
God,
as we said, most of the league has been decided at this point. Week 15
Yes.
is going to be a lot of testing. So
If you're
expect
smart.
a lot of crazy matches and a lot
We
of
hope.
teams that normally win, maybe not. Yeah. Hopefully you won't see a lot of Draconic Auras on facing the Rugrats or something. That would make me laugh.
I would find it hilarious.
That would be amazing.
Dirt versus Rugrats, man.
But there are still teams that are fighting for it. Obviously, Muscle and Saiyans, obviously, Majins and Earth Defenders, Blades and Androids. So there's still going to be several teams vying for
Blades and
control
Androids
of something.
fighting for it? I don't think they are.
No, never mind. Nope, not the Blades and Androids.
The
so
Majins
it's really
are
just those
actually
four
fighting.
teams?
Majins are really fighting to make sure they have the bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah, is
Also-
it just those four teams that are fighting for any sort of thing?
Earth Defenders, Margins, and
Muscle
Muscle
really wants to win.
Yeah, Muscle, Valkyrie, Saiyans. I'm not sure what the standings
yes,
are between
okay.
Valkyries and Muscle are, but
Valkyrie's
Right,
lost
so
against
yeah,
Muscle.
that's what I'm saying. It's,
so Muscle are second. Yeah.
so it's just those four teams that care about anything.
Yeah.
Woo!
Awesome.
Everyone else, if you're in the playoffs, test week. If you're not
Yeah.
in the playoffs, test week. Start throwing out ideas. Get to your forum and start saying, look, this is either we didn't make it to the playoffs, let's start working this and make season 6 amazing. Or we did get to the playoffs, we need to start preparing for this. We've got 2 weeks. Let's start, you know what? Week 15, win or lose, who cares? Throw out a crazy idea. Let's see if it works. Don't say crazy. I would say a well-educated, thought-out idea
Yes.
and see if it works.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Right, okay, cool, awesome, lovely. On to questions, I assume? Is that? I don't
Yes.
remember what we usually do. I leave it
Questions.
up to HJK and
Questions.
I talk. Burn,
On
why do
to
you
the
suck?
questions.
Okay, so
Is that legit?
first one. Yeah, first one.
Will you stop taking charge? I'll have to start calling you HJK. I don't like this.
Go ahead, Rebel. Go ahead and read them.
Fuck you. Alright, first question comes from Hazaf Timelines. I'm pretty sure it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Okay, cool. First one comes from Hazaf Timelines. Because we're probably going to get a whole flood of these questions in the last few weeks, I'm going to cause a massive earthquake, cause a tsunami, and get the entire thing over with. What was your opinion on the performance of the coaches of DBZ League? To quicken things up, you can point out one good thing they've been doing in Season 5, and point out things they may need to improve, except to Beowulf, since he's already asked that question. I read the question. I'm not doing my usual thing of jumping in and berating everyone. It's someone else's job this time.
I was kind of relying on that because you always seem to want to. But okay.
I'm a lovely person. I don't know what your problem is with me. Jeez.
Lies.
Squee?
Gosh, I have to every coach of every team.
Alright, let's start with the Super Saiyans.
Super Saiyans, they've done what they usually do.
Yeah, I mean, is there
Himmel's
anything?
good.
I can't really say anything they've done wrong because their builds have always made sense. They've always worked. They've always worked. Well,
They
every
lost the
week they've
game. I
worked
think
to
they did
counter
that
the
wrong.
They
I
lost
think-
You need to
team.
rewatch that match because they lost only to Derping.
No,
Literally.
they lost the game, dude. That's not cool. Not okay with
I
that.
would say.
Okay.
I would say that Super Saiyans are like ideal team,
Mhm.
since that they do everything that a team should do.
I agree. Squeak, one question for you. You're still using the voice activated thing, and
Yeah. Why?
you might want to change that. It keeps on cutting out at various points.
Yeah, can you
No.
turn it
Can
to
you-
detect it lower?
Either that or
Like,
just use push to talk like normal
More
people.
detection? Or push to talk.
Talk like no. Actually, guys, I've just been cutting off my own stuff.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, hang on. Let me do this.
Cool.
I talk like, and then what?
Yes, that's quite annoying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought that was Squeak. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Damn it.
All right, let me see here. I'll just do push to talk then.
Cool. Cool.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I agree with you. The Super Saiyans are pretty much not sure I'd say ideal because I'm not there and HDK's there, so you know it's not entirely perfect, but yeah.
Oh, it could be perfect. I mean, we could make. We could nerf them to the ground and make only the staff on the Super Saiyans.
That'd
be hilarious.
Perfect. No, I don't. No. I don't think that'd be any good. No.
Can we just give them, you know, like I don't know where I'm going with that.
No, to be honest with you, they're like actually having the staff on one team would be awful.
Probably, yeah.
Because you would have. Okay, here's the way this would go. It would either be like a couple of people who just agreed on the way builds work, doing stuff, and everybody else just rolling over and going, yeah, whatever. Or every single build in Potara would be horrifically debated, and we'd get our traditional staff forum arguments, and it would be shit. It would be awful.
Yeah,
I'd end up killing people.
We destroy people over lesser things in that staff forum.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight now that I've seen it. Nobody really wants to go there. If you really want to go there, rethink
dark
your
things
plans.
live there.
My lair's in the corner. You know, it's cool there.
In the corner of everywhere? Sure.
Yeah.
The staff forum is located in your living room.
Okay, God.
Alright, so Super Saiyans are done.
Super Saiyans are done. Booze!
Oh, wait, Rebel, he's not seen the corner?
He hasn't, no.
Oh,
No, he's not seen the proper
no.
corner. Yeah, where all the fun stuff lives. Yeah, where I store like
we
the
have
insults
corners.
Yeah, where I store all the nasty things I can say to people.
Can we talk about booze, please? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Booze.
Sure.
What to say about the booze? I honestly, here's going to be my problem with this, is that in order to answer this question properly, I would have to go back over the builds for every week and take a look at what they did and their results. I would have to do some research before I could really answer this question properly, because right now I look at the Boo's poor record and I want to say, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but it's been so long, I don't really remember if they were dutiful or if they changed them or if they were the same over the season, because that was months ago.
Yeah, no,
So I would have to do some research before I actually answer that question. Besides that, I think that question's a bit trying to draw me out. You know, every once in a while we'll call people out and say what you did was wrong, but this is kind of like a baiting question. It's almost like begging me to say bad things about things.
I
don't really want to do that.
If you really want to bait me. Trust me, you won't like what comes out the other end.
Okay, so what I'm getting for this is we're going to bench this question so that we'll have some homework, and then next week we will rip the shit out of you.
No.
Right?
No.
No?
And
Okay,
no, what'll happen is we'll
leaving
get here,
this
and then Rebel will be like, I didn't do my homework.
What I'll do is I'll
usual.
go, hey, I do my fucking homework, I just don't turn up to the lesson. I just turn up later and hand it in after. There's a difference. I do my work. Just a bit late. Well, I've not missed the deadline yet. I'm working on it. Right, okay, here's the way we're gonna handle this question, right? I could spend an awful lot of time sitting here and ripping into people. Okay? If that's what you're trying to do, that's absolutely fine. Send me a PM. If you're a coach and you really, really want me to do this, send me a PM. Leave it for a bit. Double check that you really, really want to send it. And be prepared for what you're going to get in return. Because if you ask me to be honest, and you really want to know what my opinion is, some of it is not going to be particularly pleasant. And if you want my honest opinion, I will not hold back. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if you
But
are
I
an
will at
individual
least
coach,
say that I will at least say that if he does that, though, you might actually get some really good knowledge from it. Rebel, despite his lack of charm and tact, is really good at knowing what works with what.
Hell, that's what I did after the Blades handily defeated my team. In week 3, I asked him exactly that, and he was like, this is what you did wrong, this is what you did wrong, and this is how you can improve. And ever since then, That's what I've been starting to do.
Yeah, I've had chat with, as well as Burn, Vindicated a bit, as well as Grey off the androids every now and then. Okay, so if you really want that kind of feedback and that kind of conversation, I'm quite happy to have it. Send me a PM and be sure that you want that sort of feedback.
Yeah. Because he will not hold back.
No.
He really won't.
I refuse to do that sort of thing, especially in the level of detail that you seem to want. I refuse to do that completely publicly. Yeah? Someone else wants to start something public, I will take it public and I will rip the shit out of you. Okay? It happens. It happens in the staff forum, and it has, to a very much lesser degree, happened in the general discussion forum. I will not do it unless someone starts it or someone asks me the question privately. Okay? Generally, my opinion of the coaches is mostly positive. For the most part, there are mistakes that you guys make, which we generally cover in the Zcast, and you're already well aware of. So, generally, the improvements that you may wish to look at in terms of your teams and the way you approach matches are exactly that. The way you look at your team, the way you approach the matches that you're coming up to, and the way that you look at building your players. A lot of teams look at it and go, okay, well, what can we do to make this person better, without looking at, okay, what is it that actually makes this person good, and what is it are we going to be sacrificing in order to make this person do this? Especially if you already have a build that works, or you have a Patara that you want to use to counter something, you have to ask yourself, what are we sacrificing, and is it worth it? And then obviously looking at stuff like who you're going up against, what their lineup's likely to be, who you think they're going to bench, and actually genuinely looking at that, and really going into a lot of detail on that. And part of that is down
and I
to
also think I'm sorry, I was going to say, I also think another of it is that a lot of people need to start looking at building characters this way. Find the AI first and make a build around it.
Yeah,
despite
absolutely.
what I said earlier, while I was saying that there is the other way is valid in certain cases, I think as a general rule of thumb, find your AI and then make your build.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I agree. I think that's by far the best way of doing it. And also, this is more not necessarily to coaches, but to just the fans and people who are helping to build that, is talk. There's an awful lot of people in the league at the minute that are going into teams and they're looking at stuff and they're talking, they're giving some feedback, but an awful lot of it is, yeah, sure, you know what you're doing, that's cool. Without really discussing why, even if you would completely agree with someone, their reasoning, actually finding out why do you think that this is a good idea? What is it about this that makes you think this is a good idea? Now, maybe you ask that question and they come back with an answer that you completely agree with, you have absolutely no problems with whatsoever, and everything's fine and dandy. Cool. It's fine. You've got, a week at least to make things work and to make things happen. You've got plenty of time to talk about things and discuss things and have that kind of conversation. But you may come up with a situation where you look at something and say, I don't actually agree with that line of reasoning, and after having that conversation, I think this might be a better idea. And you will find a huge amount of improvement that way, I think. And that's just to teams generally. So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to leave that one there now.
Yep. Next question.
Okay. Now that almost all the stats are done with the exception of the last 2 weeks, what do you think of the player rankings? Are there any characters that you think would do better but performed poorly and vice versa? Are there any surprising character performances for whatever reason?
Surprising character performance up the butt, yeah. Lots of them. I never would have thought Tambourine would have been #1 in the charts for many weeks in a row. Never would have thought Fasha would have been the strongest character in the league. Never would have thought Chi-Chi did as well as she did, despite the fact that she's not fantastic. But still.
Mm-hmm. Like,
lots and lots of surprises, yeah. And I'm going to the stats right now to see who's what as we speak.
Chi-Chi's 80th squeak.
I never really would have thought Krillin would be 68th overall.
No, I would never, to be honest with you, I would not have thought that Roshi was going to be the strongest player on Moss.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think that was going to be a thing. I don't know, I didn't think that Goten would be stronger than Trunks, but that has, as I think I pointed out last week, and certainly Gamer Junkie pointed out himself, that has its own connotations over the fact that quite a lot of the time Kid Trunks didn't come out.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, but despite the fact that he's still at 51,000, so fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, see, the reason why we have that is because we determined pretty early on in the season, I think it was around week 4 or week 5, or somewhere around there, 3, 4, 5, that we were going to record Gotenks' stats, but instead of having an extra, this is Gotenks, because it would screw up all the rankings, and he would be first no matter what because he does 2 players worth of damage, we split his damage done between Goten and Trunks.
That sounds cheap. I think you're artificially buffing their stats. I think that's a terrible thing to do.
I'm glad you agree.
Wow, you're the one that told me to do that. Wow, okay. Thanks, Squee.
Anything to give you a bad time.
Jesus.
I love having this guy on the Zcast. I'm really glad we brought him on. This is fantastic.
I know. I would say the stats in general, I am immensely pleased with, and I hope they continue through the other seasons. They've been incredibly helpful for teams building. Yeah. They've been incredibly helpful giving you a good view of the league. A perfect example, like Rebel says, and until I looked it up, I was sitting there thinking, man, yeah, Chi-Chi's done a lot better than I expected her to. Yeah, she's ranked 80th. Yeah. They do a great job of keeping you grounded because what you see is not always what's happening.
Yeah, you need to pay a huge amount of very close attention and really be in that mindset to actually look at something and just tell, snap your fingers, first glance, what's actually going on and how well someone is genuinely doing. Because a lot of performances look incredibly impressive but aren't actually that great.
And it also teaches a lot about how the league works. For example, look at Dragon Ball Warriors. Their rankings, 4, 35, 45, 65, and 24. And they're at the top of their division. You would look at those rankings and you'd go, God, this team's going to suck. But no, they're at the top of their division. It shows, it makes you realize how complex everything is, how you can have team members who aren't the best and still be one of the best teams out there, or you can have team members that are consistently in the top 10 and still have a horrible win-loss record.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I keep saying look at Earth Defenders, but look at Earth Defenders. We've went 9 wins, 1 loss in the past 10 weeks. We have Krillin at 68, we have Yamcha at 33, we have Goku at 13, who is our highest member, Tien at 25 and Chaozu at 64. I mean, we have maybe 2 that's above 30. The rest are below. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yup. Next question.
Okay, cool. During the season, we've seen a lot of teams being comfortable enough with their builds to counter their opponents, something we've never seen in previous, or we would have never seen in previous seasons. Not entirely true, but let's go with it anyway. What changes of general team customizing do you think will occur in Season 6?
There will be more. People won't get complacent.
Almost exactly my thought process, yes. Okay, so first off, being comfortable with your builds is not the point where you should start countering your opponent. You should never be comfortable with your builds. Generally, okay, yes, the general concept, sure. But with very few exceptions, your build should be changing based on what you think is going to occur and who you think is going to come out. You certainly should have a default build that you say, okay, I really don't have a fucking clue, or, you know, this person is a general sort of character, or this person is someone that they are going to be testing quite a lot with, so we're just going to go with what we know works. Sure. Excuse me. But you should always be looking to counter your opponents. Even when you're not quite happy with the way things are going. Just because you're comfortable or uncomfortable does not mean you should not go for countering. It really doesn't work. It shouldn't work like that. And I think looking at teams, I think the Earthfenders are actually a prime example of this, unfortunately. That, you know, you can look at them and say, this is still, you know, this is still a work in progress. A lot of these builds are actually a work in progress. And, you know, these characters really aren't to the point where they are, or even vaguely considered comfortable and, you know, really strong, constantly performing characters.
Our builds are flawless. You take that back.
No.
No, our builds are not flawless. Ever.
Shut up, Burn. I'm making a point.
Nope. Not happening. And so, you shouldn't be looking to counter after your builds are set. You should be looking at doing what Burn and the Earthfenders have been doing, which is saying, okay, here's who we're going up against, here's how we counter them, or here's how I think we should counter them, here's how we do it. Rather than saying, here's what we usually do, let's counter it by doing this. And I think you'll find the former to be a far more successful method of doing things.
It's true.
And in terms of changes to general team customization, I think we'll continue the trend that we've already started seeing, which as far as I'm concerned is a season too late, which is the use of more unusual Pataras and more team-specific strategies. And by unusual Pataras, I mean things like Warrior Lineage, Active Heart. I think Exquisite Skill is another one that needs to be used more often. I think Draconic Aura has a place, and I think some of the less used higher point Pataras will get used, or should certainly get used a lot more. So I hope that that ends up happening in Season 6. Although I do have my doubts.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think there's going to be more dancing.
Awesome!
Oh god.
Great,
Oh god.
I can sit on the sidelines and laugh. That's fantastic.
I also
Ginyu
really think
versus
there should be a lot
match.
more. I think there should be a lot more aura colors. I really think it's a trend that we should start seeing.
Idea, yeah. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
like, you know, when the Super Saiyans had the pink aura, they still, although when the Saiyans had the pink aura, they still went out and trashed everyone. So absolutely, yeah.
I
that's
think
a really good
every
idea.
team should definitely use one. Burn, don't ever use them. I think every team should use one.
Exclusively, actually. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And I think actually Flight's a wonderful Patara that you really have to consider because it makes people fly faster as well. You know, it gives them a more consistent airborne quality. It's great.
I think
Anybody
Broly's
who's
ring on the Dragon Ball Warriors is a really good idea.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, just as a
Actually,
side note,
I really do think that. No,
Oh, for
I'm not
PyCon,
even
sure.
joking.
I mean, not PyCon, Pilaf. But I was talking about
Pilaf.
everyone else, like Gohan and Kid Goku.
Oh yeah, go nuts. I mean,
Don't want him going ape. That's crazy.
absolutely. Also, just as a quick side note, anybody who is stupid enough to take this at face value, you deserve everything that comes to you, and you should lose every game. Right. There we go. It's my opinion.
you're so
And he's
mean.
sticking to it.
Yep. Not changing.
So mean.
Yeah. You have a problem with that, dude?
No, I
Good.
really don't.
Good. Good.
Okay. Next question. I'm
Next
pretty sure-
question, I have pretty much said what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
We are not discussing this. This is not open.
Not publicly. Privately,
Yeah.
maybe.
What's the question? So
Okay,
that I
sorry. The
can know
question
what's
is from
going on?
Deadmaster Zero. Do you think that Cold was just unlucky this season, or was I bad as a coach, or a combination of both? While noting I did actually change things once I realized they weren't working this season. Please don't fire me. This is not something I'm going to address on the Zcast. If you really want feedback, then send PM. You know, if you really want to talk to us, send us PM. If you want us to discuss this as a trio or group of 4, whatever that ends up being, on the Zcast, you know, as a Zcast group, then send one of us or all of us a PM and specifically say so. That's fine. We will do so, and we will get back to you at some point. This applies to all coaches, by the way. If you want that to be a thing, say so to one of us or all of us, and we will do so. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to during the off season if you wanted, like, I think this is what you're getting at, Rebel. Like the us as Zcast get together behind closed doors. In other words, in a private recording, and just shoot that recording to you or something like that, so that just you and your team can hear what we have to say. We're fine with that.
Yeah.
But I think we should wait till the off season before.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing that during the playoffs.
No, absolutely not. I'm not giving you. We. If you want help in terms of builds, the same thing applies generally. It's fine. But in terms of that general Zcast thing that I just mentioned, that will do in the off-season. As I said before, I will not do that publicly. It's not okay, just in general and on principle.
Indeed. I will say this, though. We would never fire a coach for being bad. We only really fire coaches if they're not following the rules of a coach, which, as of yet, being skilled is not actually a rule.
No, otherwise Burn wouldn't be there.
What?
I do want to point this out, though.
What a gigantic asshole.
Here's the thing. We would never tell you to step down just because you're not a great coach. Now, I will say conversely, you might not get a coaching position because you're not a great coach. But if you already got the position,
the only point we will tell you to step down is if you are breaking one of the rules that you have accepted to abide by when you agreed to become a coach. That is when we will fire you. Or if you genuinely go ahead and are just a gigantic fucking wanker, then we'll certainly consider it. But apart from that, if your team's losing, go on, sir.
I would say this, though. If you feel like you're not the best coach for your team and maybe someone else on your team is better, you don't have to step down. Here's the thing that people don't seem to understand. The coach does not have to be the brains behind the team, period. Does not have to be. A coach's main job and goal is to lead the conversation and to post builds on time and break ties on the few occasions that happens. That's it. That's a coach's only way that they're better than anyone else. If, for example, perfect example, let's say someone is a coach of the team and there's someone else on the team who is brilliant at making builds. They don't have to be the coach. Just listen to them. If you're the coach of that team and you feel like, gosh, this guy could run the team so much better than I could, you don't have to step down unless you both choose that's the best thing to do. Just listen to him or them or all of them. That's all you have to do. And then if that guy is much better at running the team than you are, guess what? You start listening to his ideas and your team will be much better run, and you don't step down as a coach unless your team decides it's the best course of action. So I don't think that any coach should ever step down just because they're not the best person on that team. I think that a coach should only step down, A, they no longer have the commitment to it, B, they are asked to step down because of what we said earlier, you broke the rules, you're being a douche or whatnot, or C, the team, including the coach, decides that this is probably the best course of action.
Yes. Yeah. You are not necessarily required to be good at making builds if you are a coach. Yeah? If we're going to give you a new coaching position, so when a coach steps down, for example, or we fire a coach. Let's say coach steps down. Let's be nice about this. Let's say a coach steps down, okay?
Yeah.
And we run one of our trials, which is probably pretty much exclusively how we'll do things in the future in terms of getting new coaches for teams, is running some form of trial where we say, okay, here's a team, here's the people you got to work with, and I'll probably structure this differently if we have the opportunity to do it in the off-season. And say, what I'll probably end up doing is saying, okay, here's the players you got to work with, and here's who you're up against, here's what they'll be using, or here's what they generally use. Here's how I want you to deal with it. I want you to say, give me the builds, and give me the reasoning behind it, and give me how you think the game will pan out, as an example. Okay? And that says, okay, I actually, because we've done this before, right? I actually do not give a flying fuck what builds you use. I don't care. My only interest when running those sorts of things is being able to look at that and say, okay, this person has a brain. This person can look at what's going on and reason out what it is they're doing. Anything else you can build on. Anything else is experience. Is, okay, this is what this Potara does. This is how this AI performs on this person. All that is experience. That's knowledge. That is nothing. Anybody can know that. As long as you have a memory or a pad of paper, you can know that. You can be able to do that. That's not a thing. It's pretty much irrelevant to a large degree. As a coach, you need to be able to listen to people, and you are monitored, as you're all very well aware. You are monitored to just make sure that you are doing that, and you are going by what your team wants you to do and by the rules that we've set out. Yeah. But the main point is being able to listen to other people on your team and being able to have a reasoned discussion with someone and to be able to argue your point and to try and actually have a logical reason behind what you're doing other than, I think it's a good idea. Because that isn't a reason. I occasionally come up with things and look at things and go, yeah, you know what, I think this will work, with no better reason than I got a hunch. But I've been here for nearly 6 seasons and I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
And that, even that said, that wouldn't have got him a coaching position.
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't have.
No.
So just so you know, saying I know I got a hunch and I've been here for 6 seasons isn't gonna cut it.
No, if you try doing that, it's not gonna get you anywhere. Because fuck you. It's our rules, man. Deal with it. But yeah, that you don't. Yeah, as we said, you don't need to be the best at builds in your team by any stretch of the imagination. Cool. I think we've beaten that one to death.
Yes, pretty sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Stinking now.
Next question by Havoc. Do you think different costumes affect players' AI?
Nope.
Nope.
Not even
I
a
don't
little
personally
bit.
think. Yeah. I
Cool.
mean, it's interesting to see how ED was all on different costumes and they performed completely differently, but
Can I put that
due
down to the AI?
derps. Yeah, it's AI. Really.
Can I be cynical here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one last question, which we glazed over from last week. I forgot about.
Go on.
From Gamer Junkie. To Squee, in future seasons when Naruto League doesn't run at the same time as this, will there still be a 14-day break between weeks?
No, actually, I've said this before. I'll say again now. The 14 weeks thing is actually going to end at the end of week 15 of this season, meaning our playoffs are not going to be every other week, bi-weekly. We're going to have week 15, and then we're going to have a week break because we always have a week break between normal seasons and playoffs. And then we'll have a playoff every single week and then the Tenkaichi Bowl, so all 4 weeks consecutively, because no one wants to have to wait 14 days in between a playoff match. And then from that point on, Naruto League and Dragon Ball Z League, so basically it'll work perfectly because Naruto League will be halfway through their season. They'll just take a month off so that we can do DBZ League consecutively. Then Naruto League will go every week because Dragon Ball Z League will be in the off season, and then once we get to season 6 and season 3 in Naruto League, we'll figure all that out. But the whole bi-weekly thing will not be an issue anymore. We will be going back to weekly basis.
Okay. So that's all the questions done.
Actually, let me have a quick look because I'm pretty sure that one was different. Oh yeah, he's edited it slightly, I think.
Who?
Actually, no, maybe. Never mind. Fuck it. Just carry on. Wait, May the 11th. How many
What?
days ago was that? Listen,
May
Bern,
11th was
I've
2
always
days
told
ago.
you, read the fucking small print, you blind bastard.
Fuck.
There you go. Easy.
Oh,
And
he edited-
other berated things that burn. Arr!
Yay! Screw you, Bern. I like having him around. This is great. We're having a
I
good
know
time.
it's
I
like
know.
chicken soup
I
for the
swear to
soul.
Christ, I'm
I
gonna
know,
burn
it's
them all.
brilliant. It's alright, Ares isn't very good.
Shut up.
Anyway, the
Don't diss Lolries. Come on.
Nah, you just get beads. You'll be fine. Nobody has any idea what we're talking about. Anyway.
Yeah. Go play Smite, people.
Yeah, go play
anyways.
Smite. It is awesome. Yeah. No, I'm not happy to use Draconic Aura. It's probably a bad idea. No. It was a good idea to use it against Muscle.
Yeah, against Muscle. Yeah.
It was a good idea. I'm actually not happy that it didn't turn out for you. Because I think that would have been really, really cool, and I think it probably should have done. But yeah, no, it was a good idea, and I'm not happy because it didn't pan out and didn't work for you. But yeah, I'm happy that you did it. It's cool.
I think he's stuck on loop. Squee, we need to hit. Realm.
Yeah. Could someone reach over there and hit him?
Come anywhere near you, and I'll hit you back.
Good.
We need a ghost dad in here.
Awesome. Right. What else have we got to do?
Okay, we have 2 things left. We have next week's predictions and the season 6 placement that I want to go over.
Oh yeah.
I really am gonna have to start calling you HDK.
Fuck off.
Well, you know what though? I don't think we should do predictions for next week. Half the teams are going to be on test builds. How are we supposed to predict that?
Oh. Okay, so season 6 placement then.
Okay. Done. Yeah, go. Okay. Do it. Yeah.
Alright, so as it currently stands, it's looking like Super Saiyans, Majins, Dragon Ball Warriors, and Earth Defenders are in North Kai. Valkyries, Muscle, Androids, and Rugrats are in East Kai. Saiyans, Blades, Namek, and Boos are in West Kai. Gohan, Ginyu, Cold, and Derp are in South Kai next season. The only way that Dragon Ball Warriors and Earth Defenders are going to be knocked out of North Kai is if Muscle gets a win.
And they both lose.
Well,
yeah.
No.
Well, no. Oh, no, that's true, because they're facing each other next week. Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Whoever loses between Dragon Ball Warriors and Earth Defenders will get knocked out of North Kai if Muscle wins.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be pretty.
No.
So that's basically Muscle's only way of getting into North Kai. Period. Mm-hmm. Majins are solidly in. Super Saiyans are solidly in. Valkyries are solidly in East Kai because they lost to Dragon Ball Warriors, Earth Defenders, and Muscle. So they're in East Kai. Blades might be able to edge out Saiyan or Rugrats or Androids. I'm not sure on the actual matchups. Who won against
the Saiyans?
You know, I have an interesting question.
Yeah.
I have an interesting question. If Earth Defenders win next week and Majins lose next week, wouldn't Majins also have a chance of being edged out of North Kai?
No way. Because they're two wins above any other team that can possibly get to North.
No, because they're going to be tied with the Earth Defenders.
They would be tied with the Earth Defenders,
but Dragon Ball Warriors wouldn't be. Got it. So never mind.
No, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter anyway, Squeak. Like even if you shift everything up by 1 win, even if Dragon Ball Warriors and Earth Defenders were fine and secure, Majins already have 2 wins. They can't have less or equal wins to anybody in East Kai. It's not possible. We have 1 game. Majins have got 10 wins. Anybody the closest to them has 8. They can't be edged out.
Earth Defenders and DB Warriors have... Oh yeah, that's true.
Yes,
never mind.
In East Kai...
Never mind.
It doesn't
Shut
matter.
Up.
Fucking
Shut up.
hell.
Math. Okay.
I've been drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Americans. It's
no wonder why. No wonder why you're so irritable. Anyways.
I'm sorry. This is different.
No, it's not.
Thank you. This is the guy that plays Smite with me. It's great.
I know it's not fun. Actually, it is. It's a lot of fun. Play Smite, people.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Androids, Rugrats, and Saiyans. One of them. I would have to take a look at the. Give me a second. Let's see.
I gave you a second.
Yes. Did Androids win against Saiyans?
No idea.
That's what I'm looking at.
Pizza.
Pizza is tasty.
It is. Androids did win against Saiyans, so the only way that they could be edged out is maybe through Rugrats.
Well, if the Saiyans won and the androids lost, Saiyans go through. Because they have an extra win over the androids.
True.
The same goes for the Rugrats. If the Saiyans win, and either of the androids or Rugrats lose, then they go through.
Very true. Alright. And if the Blades win, then they still have a chance to getting to Isekai.
Yeah. I will say,
Because
this sort of thing takes quite a lot of thought, but is actually less complicated than Burns making it seem.
I know it is. But my head hurts. I'm only on 3 hours of sleep, and shut the fuck up, Rebel.
I don't even need to say anything. This is great.
The Gohans potentially might not be in South Kai.
Potentially.
Because right now Namek, Boo's, Gohans, and Ginyu are all at 5 and 9. Ginyu might be able to climb out of South Kai if they win against Saiyans. But yeah, it's against Saiyans. It's gonna be hard. Gohans have a better chance of getting out of South Kai.
I do like how it looks like it's very possible right now that 2 teams from South Kai may be climbing all the way up to North Kai next season.
Yeah. Well,
it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, because a lot, you say, Squee, that some of these things are based off the playoffs and such, and that because of that, there might be an awful lot of testing involved. I'm interested to see how many teams will consider going up a division or staying in a higher division will be important enough for them to actually play their utmost. I'm going to be really curious to see what that's like.
Yeah, that'll be a really good thing to see.
I would be heartwarmed to see that be a thing.
I would like it to be, yes. I agree. It would be nice. But we shall see how that one goes.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it, from what I can tell.
Okay, cool.
Alright then.
Cool, I think we're done then, in that case. Anybody got anything to add?
Not really. I'm good to go. I'm excited for week 15. And the playoffs
so am I.
after that.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
And in the off season when we start our horrible death debates.
Yeah, that's...
Listen, all you need to do is
not
not disagree with me. I don't understand why you have so many problems with this.
You act like that's an easy thing to accomplish.
I'm always right.
Rebel, I disagree with you on principle. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you suck.
You tell him, Burn.
Disagreeing with me on principle is generally a bad idea.
Yeah, it really is.
If you can't bring an actual argument to the table, I don't really take very well to it.
No. I think you misheard me. I disagree with you because I am the principal.
I really don't give a shit. Yeah.
And that's why I named the sheep Sarah.
Wonderful. On that note, folks, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.